Sometimes I like to do these videos from bed. One time my friend was doing a blog, and he did it for a long time, this blog. And he was a very good writer. I used to enjoy reading what he was writing. And then one day he said, well, that's it. I want a new project. And he let this project go. It was an online project, and you have to pay to keep a website up. And he didn't have a lot of money, so he just let the website expire. And all of his writings of all this time disappeared forever. I don't think he kept a backup copy of it. I mean, it's a hassle to go and keep all this old data, and the internet company, they still have their hand out, give us money, and you need all these extra things to protect you because people will go and look to see who you are. So you need to get GoDaddy. Those fucking assholes at GoDaddy, they're always looking for more money. So anyway, this beautiful piece of work that he'd spent, I don't know, a year and a half on every day doing posts, disappeared forever from the art space of humanity because fucking GoDaddy kept asking for money to host on their fucking servers so they could pay their employees, or probably most likely their shareholders, a nice return. The shareholders that never looked at this beautiful website, this beautiful person's beautiful work. They just wanted the fucking money, these fucking GoDaddy shareholders. And, the shareholders of GoDaddy are going to say, well, I got to have an investment, I got to have something to do with my savings so that I get a return because, inflation and everything. I've got to keep up with inflation. And, I got to pay the electric bill, and I got to pay the data center, and I got to have a technician to come in and, redo my server every once in a while, and they're not free. And, it's true. I never read your friend's blog, and, it is lost forever. And it's just that, last night, after I've had enough, I just had enough. And I said to myself, maybe it's time to go and delete my YouTube and delete my Instagram. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 2-3 years. I never did it to make money. It was just, some place to, and I opened this YouTube channel many, many years ago. Some of my really old stuff was from a long time ago. But it's just, sometimes I have these trolls post horrible, horrible notes on my YouTube, and, maybe I take it personally. I just come to the point where it's like, you fucking people on here, you fucking trolls, you're fucking nasty. When I go and I look, and it's like, it's clearly a fake account. There's no, there's no picture there. There's nothing posted. It's just somebody that wanted to go and create an account so they can put some nasty comments. And then there's somebody else, that got about 4 videos on there in their account, and it's them talking. And, probably about my age and probably been through a lot of the same things I am. But they said I'm basically clueless. And it didn't go over very well for me. So I made a video and I just vented how I really felt about someone saying, someone that doesn't know anything about me and watches one of my videos and then takes an instant I'm instantly going to be a psychologist and I just figured you out, and you know what, you're wrong and you're stupid and you're dumb and you're clueless, and basically, and I basically chewed this person out, and my video went on, and I told this person off. I didn't like write it all out in a piece of paper and then read it. I just turned on the phone and I just started breathing, and out came the words. A lot of my stuff, it comes out of my brain. I wonder, why do I bother having a brain at all? Because it's really not educational for anybody, because people just don't get it. I did 2 videos on Tom Hanks. And, am I supposed to do a 3rd video about Tom Hanks? What do I think about Tom Hanks? He's made me laugh so many times over the years. And he's made me think about the human condition. He's a fantastic actor. And these stories that somebody keeps saying, oh, it's true, Tom Hanks is a horrible serial predator or something. And it's like, fuck, do you really know Tom Hanks? You've seen him in movies, and then you've seen someone reporting, saying these things, oh, it was on his Twitter, it must be true or something, and then somebody else is going to say, Lady Gaga, she hangs out with that spirit cooking woman. That spirit cooking woman, she's the devil incarnate, Abramovic or whatever. And somebody else is going to say, oh, it's the Queen of England, there's like dead bodies on Balmoral Castle, there's dead bodies in there. She took Aboriginal people from Australia and Canada, just children, and, they drank their blood. They're horrible nightmare people, these ones, It's all those aristocrats, Illuminati bloodlines. She's been faking it for 95 years, pretending to be human. But David Icke says she's, she's a reptilian, And Bill Cosby, I watched that. Oh, so many things when I was a little kid. He did Fat Albert. And I thought, oh, wow, this is amazing. And, I grew up in a totally white community. We had like one Chinese restaurant with 1 or 2 Chinese families, but everybody else in our town was white. No black people in our whole city of 110,000. Not a single black person when I grew up. Isn't that weird? But on TV, there was this black guy, Bill Cosby. And I love Bill Cosby. And then they ruined Bill Cosby. He was an old man, and they said, he had something going on with all of these women that accused him of doing all this stuff. And they basically took Bill Cosby, this old man, and now they're doing it to all these other movie stars and celebrities. You can't help but hear about these things because, they get spread around. I never met Bill Cosby in person. Never even saw him live in concert. Same with Tom Hanks, and same with, Lady Gaga. Actually, I did see her. I never talked to her, but I was at a gay club in Vancouver, Canada, and she was there. And I didn't even know that she was a star at the time. I mean, I might have heard the name Lady Gaga, but I didn't recognize who she was. But somebody pointed her out and said, that's Lady Gaga. She was still pretty new on the scene. I didn't go over to bother her or anything. I just, just remember that she was there. She was in my favorite club. And, this was about maybe 15 years ago. Time goes by so fast. And my favorite club, the city decided that the city owned the land and decided that they wanted to tear down this club. It had been there for a very long time. It was a very popular club. And I sent letters to the city and the city council. Please don't tear down my favorite place to hang out. It's Vancouver history. This is a historical place. And, Vancouver, they had a bylaw that said you couldn't cut down trees, maybe without a city permit. And there was a huge old tree. I don't know how old it was. It was a huge tree. I don't know how many years it would have taken to grow. But, it was in the patio. And, somebody else got fined. It was in the paper in Vancouver because they cut down a bunch of trees without a permit on their property. But lo and behold, the city of Vancouver, in the name of whoever the fuck these fucking asshole mayor and council people were, they decided, no, it was time for the Odyssey to be demolished. So they demolished it and they cut down this very old, beautiful tree. And it was a long time monument in the gay community. It wasn't like, there's a lot of gay monuments in Vancouver. There's not. But they knocked this one down and they put up another condominium. And then as, they said to the gay community, oh, we're going to have some subsidized housing for people with HIV. Aren't you pleased with us? And I wanted to say, you stupid fucking bastards. I did at one point because they weren't responsive. Doesn't matter. That's progress. Now, I don't even live in Vancouver. It's so fucking expensive there. It's so fucking expensive that the working people, can't afford to live there. The rent is astronomical. The cost of buying a little condominium is, I don't know, it's so expensive. Can't afford to live there. It's a beautiful city. I did enjoy there, but in the end, between the high cost of living and the lack of good paying jobs, and the traffic and the people, and I started to get cabin fever there. I left and I never gone back. The rest of Canada is the same as Vancouver. It's super expensive, even in, little cities. The jobs don't pay. Unless, you got a government job. If you're a teacher, you make $100,000 being a teacher. It's pretty good. Or if you're a fireman or a police officer, you can make good money. Or if you're a doctor, you can make good money. Or maybe if you're a lawyer. But, the working people used to be a good union wage jobs, manufacturing and transportation. A lot fewer of those good paying jobs, a lot more minimum wage jobs. Can't afford to live. People doing 2 jobs. low-paying jobs to make, try and make it. I was born in Canada, and I feel like Canada let me down because this is the way it is. You know, I remember John F. Kennedy, the President of the United States, and he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." Oh, if John F. Kennedy was alive today, I'd say, "Mr. President, you know, what can I do for my country? My country has basically been taken over by foreigners. You know, foreigners come here from overseas and they buy up all the real estate in Vancouver. You know, a place in a city, a nice city, one of the warmest cities. You know, there's not like a lot of warm cities in Canada, but it's on the Pacific Ocean. It's very pretty. It's in the country I was born in, and I can't afford to live in that fucking city anymore. You know, so what did my country do for me? Well, basically they made it to the point where I can't afford to live in the country I was born in. Mr. President, you know, it has to go both ways. If I'm going to give to the country's going to have to give something back to me. Otherwise, you know, there's no point in me being a patriot. You know, basically what I look at is a country run by corporations that are all bottom line corporations, enormous multinational corporations. That's what I look at in Canada. And I don't want to be like in the country of corporate Canada. I'm a human, not a corporation, and I don't want to be enslaved to corporations. But that's what happens in Canada. The corporations. And if the corporations leave Canada, will I be upset? Well, somebody's going to say, well, you should move to Venezuela. You really think it's so bad in Canada? I'm like, fuck you, fucking idiot. If you throw Venezuela in my face again, or fucking Soviet Russia or someplace, or communist China, I'm going to come and I'm going to, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. I can just tell you, you're a fucking knob. I know what capitalism did to Canada. It basically has got me so I'm living on the edge. Capitalist Canada. Fuck capitalists. Fucking nightmare people. I want to ship you all off to Cuba, to Guantanamo Bay. All you fucking capitalists. I want to stick you in Guantanamo Bay. And I'm going to say to you, if you went out of Guantanamo Bay, you just cross that little border line there, and you go into Cuba. And you ask the Cubans if, you know, maybe you can join their country. Maybe you can see what it's like to be in a socialist country. Is it really socialist in Cuba? No, it's the same as fucking capitalist Canada. It's run by an elite. If you're an elite in a communist country, you live very well. But if you're not, then you're basically struggling to make ends meet. Hoping a tourist is going to come with some extra cash, you know, and maybe they'll buy some food and you can supply a place for them to cook the food, and maybe they'll share their food with you. That's what it's like in Canada. Food banks. A lot of people go to food banks and, you know, it's a massive failure. Canada's a fucking failure. Country I was born in. I'm not patriotic for this country. Where should I move to? What country can I be really proud of because they look after the people? They don't have homeless people. They don't have, people buying up all the rental properties so that they can, be a slumlord collecting money from people making a minimum wage. I don't know. I've made this video before. I just come to the point where it's like, why the fuck do I even post these things on Instagram, TV, or YouTube? What's the fucking point? Nothing changes. When I was a boy, country like Canada was a land of opportunity. That's what everyone told me, my parents' generations. And it's true. You didn't even have to have a university or college education to get a really good paying job. Lots of manufacturing labor jobs, they paid really good. So much that you could afford to live in a house and have a car and a boat, and you could have a summer cottage, and you could have trips, to get away in the winter. And that was when my parents' generation. A lot of people in my generation had that lifestyle too. Not all of them. I just look around and generations that followed me. There's still a few, dentists that are making good money. Real estate agents, some of them, I guess. I don't know. Not too many young real estate agents. But, the younger generations, I think that they really don't get paid very well. Despite going and taking all these courses. Well, should I post this video or... just look into the camera for a couple of hours and breathe.